Good evening and welcome to Greater Somerville for April 24th, 2012. I'm Cayenne Anderson. 'Tis the season of green, so tonight we decided to dedicate an episode of Greater Somerville to celebrate the Somerville Garden Club and familiarize you at home with the wonderful activities going on throughout the spring and summer of 2012. Whether it be taking a summertime stroll during the Somerville Garden Tour, learning what it takes to make your garden thrive in Somerville soil, or simply enjoying those vibrant public flower beds, the Somerville Garden Club has been helping make Somerville beautiful since it was founded in 1994 by a group of Somerville residents wanting to promote home gardening as well as the horticultural possibilities of Somerville's public spaces. My first guest is Theresa McGowan. Originally from Southern California, she has been living in Somerville for the past 15 years. She began her garden obsession with container gardens while she lived in an apartment. But for the past 6 years, she's been a homeowner and actually has a garden to work with. So that's where she plants her things now. She is a graduate of Wheaton College with an undergraduate in psychology and spends her 9 to 5 doing product management for a dog toy company. Her parents were avid gardeners, which is where she picked up her skill, and she learned a lot about California plants, but she grew to love the Northeast climate and the challenges that it brought with it. For most of the 15 years, she has been a member of the Somerville Garden Club as a program coordinator, a greeter, a plant sale coordinator, and then now as president. Theresa has called Somerville home for the past 15 years. Our second guest is Lisa Dezmelyk. Lisa grew up in southeastern Pennsylvania, right outside of Philadelphia, on a 40-acre former dairy farm where her passion for gardening began. Her parents were artists, and they used the home as a studio and a home, and she and her brother helped remodel this 250-year-old stone barn with an extensive landscaping that she helped create. She's a graduate of Ithaca College and got her undergraduate in theater design, which is interesting, and she spends her 9 to 5 doing soft goods production at a local company. She moved to Somerville in 1990 and was an apartment dweller, much like Theresa, and then she later became a homeowner in 1993, where her gardening was allowed to blossom. She joined the Somerville Garden Club around 95 or 1996, shortly after it was founded, and is currently the Public Relations Department head and participates in newsletter writings, plant sales, and the Somerville Garden Tours. Currently, she calls Somerville home. Where do you live in Somerville?
I live between Davis and Porter Square.
Okay, I apologize. We were supposed to get that tip. Porter and Davis Square, she calls Somerville home, where I'm certain she has a garden that her neighbors are very envious of. Please join me in welcoming Theresa, Lisa, and their green thumbs to the show tonight. Welcome to Greater Somerville, ladies.
Thank you, Cayenne. It's great to be here.
Yeah, well, thank you very much. I tried to dress up the stage a little bit.
Very nice.
You know, fitting the garden girls are coming in, so I had to get a little plants, wear a little green shirt, just in theme, nice. Keeping in theme. I apologize. We were a little late. We'll take that out. That at the very beginning, we get to edit that out. That's the beauty of editing. So anyway. Live TV you can edit. So tonight we're just going to talk a little about Somerville Garden Club.
That's right.
Which I think is a wonderful thing, and you guys are very, very active in, so that's a wonderful city of Somerville. Tell me a little bit about why you joined. You have a passion for it.
Well, I joined primarily... You know, I hadn't thought about it. I didn't know there was a club, and I was out in my new yard, my new blank, sad yard, digging by the side of the driveway on my hands and knees one day, and one of my neighbors, who I'd sort of seen on the street but didn't know, came up and said, "Hey, you look like you need some gardening help." She actually said, and she handed me the newsletter for the garden club and said, "We're a really nice group of people. Why don't you come?" So I did.
And now look at you.
And now look at me, and I got to know my neighbor, and now I've got to know all my neighbors from the people at the club. So and I thought, I need some help. I need to talk to people who know more than I do, and they all do. So that's how I wound up joining.
And now how about you, Theresa?
I think I joined back when I was just doing container gardens on a porch, and it was really the newsletter actually that got me to join as a member. It's a great newsletter. We actually brought a couple with us here because it's got some great tips in it, and then plant features and stuff like that. And so for a long time I was a member just reading the newsletter, and I couldn't make it to the meetings. But then once I started going, making time on Wednesdays to go to the meetings, I really got to know the group of people. and started learning a lot about New England plants, and it's a great source of knowledge.
You were hooked.
Fun people.
So talk about the monthly meetings. The monthly meetings are Wednesday of every month, the second Wednesday.
Second
right.
Wednesday of every month.
And that's at the Tufts Administration Building on 167
Yes,
Holland Ave.
yes.
Now here's a question. So I'm an architect during the day, and the question that I have is, what's going on that building? There's all the scaffolding, and I run by it, and I'm like, what's going on?
I'm hoping maintenance.
I figured you would be in the know.
restoration. We're not in the know.
But you're still in the building, though.
We're still in the
So
building,
important
right on
for
the
people to
second
know.
floor, but it's wheelchair accessible.
Okay.
7 to 9, second Wednesday
Second Wednesday of every month, okay.
And our meetings have, we have club announcements, then we have a round table, so anyone can come. And our meetings are free and open to everyone. You don't have to be a
Okay.
club member.
That's right.
And you can bring, a question about a plant, you can bring something, what is this,
So
what's
if you have a
killing
dying
it?
plant, you can come in.
You can, yes, it's open to all, because we have a
Sounds
couple
interesting.
master
We have to do that.
gardeners who know what's going on.
Okay.
Then we usually have a featured lecture or presentation, a demonstration on a wide variety of topics, questions for whoever's speaking, and then we have a nice raffle at the end.
A nice raffle. And what is the
Very
raffle into? This is intoxicating.
What's the
It's
raffle about?
intoxicating?
It's intoxicating. What do we
Well,
get in our raffle?
are you sure you don't have anything else at the garden
No,
club,
no,
or is
no,
it just
very
okay?
good.
Just want to make
Very
sure.
good.
Totally on the up and up. The raffle is cool. It's varies from season to season. So people are bringing in stuff that they have extras of.
Yeah.
And so this is another reason why
Right.
the club is so cool, is because you're learning about stuff that does well for your neighbors. And likely you have a yard that's just like theirs. Part sun, part shade, really dry, whatever it is. And so they'll get up and say, hey, I have this thing, and it's making babies. It will probably do well in your yard as well. And so you can talk to the person that had the plant and then get
Find
some
out.
tips.
Okay.
Right. So it's 50 cents a ticket.
So it's open to all. So
Yep.
if you're not sure if you have the ability or the time to join the club, you can just come
Show
and
up.
dip your toe in to see.
Right. You can have a sample of us
sampling.
and see if that evening is that you like it.
Now here's the question: is it all? What's the demographic? Is it just all ranges? Does it range depending on?
Yes.
It's skewed towards women, but
Yeah.
but it's really cool how the club membership is really pretty variable.
Yeah.
Men and women, young and old.
That's great.
So it's
It's
nice.
partly too with Somerville and the culture
That's
of
right.
Somerville, right? I mean, that's one of the reasons why I moved here, was really just there's a lot of diversity, and I think that would be reflected.
And I
in
think
the
our club is sort of a cross section of the whole city. We have old timers who've been here forever. We have new people. We have students.
Yeah.
Apartment
That is true.
dwellers, people who just bought property, and it's really fun to get to meet all different people
Yeah.
who not only have a gardening interest, but then they'll have another interest that hooks in with it.
Okay.
Travel,
Photography.
It all
art, like
connects.
photography, botany. That's neat. Well, I always say it's interested and interesting people who all come together.
Okay.
And with gardening's kind of the core.
No, I think that's fantastic. Okay, so we have that taken care of. Now, let's talk about some upcoming events. I know you guys have a lot of upcoming events.
We always have upcoming events.
And all this information is going to be on our website. So if you miss this, just go to our website tomorrow and I'll have that all uploaded.
Thank you. Yes, well, May 5th and 6th is Open Studios weekend in
Yeah, I was going to
Somerville.
ask you, how do you have the Somerville Garden Club? How are you displaying your
On the
talents?
5th, we are going to be outside at the farmers market because the Open Studios is going to be inside at the farmers market.
At the Armory.
At the Armory.
At the
It's
Armory,
gonna be
not
at
down
the
here.
Armory.
Correct. Yeah,
It's gonna
because
be-
that doesn't start till
That's right. It's going to be at the Armory, and it's actually a stop on the trolley that day that's running
Oh,
for
I'm
Open
going.
Studios. So if someone doesn't want to walk or try to park or take the bus,
Yeah.
they can hop a free trolley down to the Armory on Highland Avenue.
Somerville Open Studios is so wonderful.
It's so fantastic. So the artists are going to push us outside, but that's fine. So you
That's
can get
okay.
you can get the farmers market, us, and the artist all in one place. We're going to have several members there for the course of the day. We're going to be talking about composting, seed starting. We're going to have people talking about that.
Tis the season.
Tis the season. Some herb gardening. We're also going to have our newsletters to hand out if people want to become a member that day.
Are you going to be all
They
wearing
can do it.
garden green T-shirts so they can
We
recognize
may
you?
be wearing our,
Just as an idea,
our lovely,
as your marketing director.
club T-shirts. We do have. We might,
Okay.
but we'll be there. We'll have some pictures from the sites we garden around the city.
Okay.
So we're going to be there, and we hope people will come visit us.
You know what? I just thought of something. Viewers at home, I forgot to announce this at the beginning. If you have have any questions for these lovely ladies, you could, or myself, you can call our number at the bottom of the screen, 617-628-9876, and we'll take some calls. But I forgot to tell you, Theresa, you're on call duty, so if you see anything flashing, I'll direct you, don't worry, but we'll pick those up. So, okay, so you've got the upcoming Winter Farmers Market, open Somerville Studios, spring cleaning in the gardens around Somerville and public garden sites. What are your main sites? Like, do you kind of have responsibilities for certain ones, or how does that work?
This has been kind of the very original part of the Somerville Garden Club. We've got, I think it's 5 sites at the Main Branch Library, West Branch Library, at the Rotary, Powderhouse Rotary.
That's beautiful. Just ran by it yesterday.
Shared with Crowley's Clippers.
Fabulous.
And also in front of the Somerville Museum and the burial ground.
Right, we do the bulbs. Some of our members, God love them, they put in like 3,000 or 5,000 bulbs at the Mill Grove Cemetery.
That's it.
On Somerville Ave. They did the bulb display that's right next to Dezmelyk.
So here's a question.
So we do that.
Didn't the city have a bulb fest? I missed it. My friend invited me and I wanted to do it. So this is a separate, you guys are your own entity.
We are a separate thing. We don't run the community gardens. That goes through the city.
Oh, I was going to talk about that.
That's the Recreation Commission. But we don't do that. But people want them, and it's important.
Yeah.
But we do our own public sites that we maintain.
And may I ask, how does that work in terms of like funding? How does that, do you get channeled, or are you a
We are an official nonprofit.
Oh, good for you.
We're an official nonprofit. It goes for our membership dues. Our plant sale on our tours, very much that money goes toward plants and maintaining and supplies for the public gardens that we do. And it also helps to pay for our speakers. So if anyone wants to come to one of our free meetings and learn about hydroponics or how to divide orchids, that's also underwrites some of that cost.
Okay.
So we're busy.
Yeah, well, of course.
We're busy people.
Everybody's busy at the it's fantastic. Let's talk a little bit about now, are you going to do the incredible edible gardens? Are you taking a break? It's okay if you're taking a break. You've got a full plate. But,
we are.
But you're doing this. You're doing the Somerville Garden Tour, correct? Are you doing that, or is that
that we're talking about?
Okay. Sorry, we didn't vet some of this because
it's
we just
well-loved.
Yeah,
it is like the thing that sells people.
The garden tour,
the club, and Somerville. I can't tell you how many people have said we love that tour, and it's one of the things that sold me on Somerville as a town.
But it's a lot. A lot of work.
A lot of work. It really needs to be starting to plan over a year in advance, because if we were going to do it this year, we would have had to be checking out gardens last year at this time.
Okay, so I still have another year to join.
Yeah.
My garden is not that impressive, let me tell you. So you're taking the year off.
We're giving ourselves a break.
This is fine. This is fine. But that is actually something that people should go to the website, which will have all the information on where it is, and just check that out. I mean, because there are some incredible gardens in Somerville. And as a nosy neighbor, I will say that it's nice for me to go into the backyard.
Isn't it great?
Like some of them right up over, right over on Walnut Street, up in the back. Incredible cascading yard. I mean, really
And that's
amazing.
one thing I think is special about our tours and about Somerville is the incredible variety of gardens.
Yeah.
The big, small roof deck, a farm in their backyard, the things they grow, and all the edible, incredible, people who graft their own plants and they do all this stuff. And most of the time, the gardeners are there. So what I think is neat when we have a tour is that you get to meet the person who made that garden. Yeah. And that's always kind of fun, too, just to match the person to the garden, besides getting behind that fence for a change. Yeah. But that's what's so unique about it. And the gardeners love it. They're exhausted at the end, but they really enjoy it.
Oh, we have a caller. Can you press the button right on the left? See that blinking? Yep, just press it. You don't pick it up. Oh, put that down. Hello? Oh, we just lost them.
So which is the button?
Yep. You don't pick up the phone. All you need to do is, I'm sorry, caller, if you want to call back. I apologize. You press the left, where it says what, you press that. So maybe they'll call back, maybe they won't. I apologize. Okay, so the Somerville, the garden tour is going to be on hiatus, but that's okay.
That's right.
So that's going to come back around. So let's talk about the plant sale.
Oh.
Now is that, there's that, okay, so just press that button. Yep. Hi, you're on Greater Somerville.
Well, good evening, Cayenne.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing fine. Ladies, thank you so much for doing the show tonight. I have 2 requests for you.
Okay.
knowing that you do spruce up and make our public spaces beautiful, I have two requests. First is for the public space up in Lagoon Square. We have a new island up there, and unfortunately the city planted trees, and this past winter one of our less astute drivers took out all the newly planted trees.
Oh.
So if you're looking for some more public space, Lagoon Square Island could certainly use some seagrasses or something like that. And second, poor Cayenne needs help with her front yard.
Oh my! You know what, Joe Lynch?
So
I should hang
take
up.
a ride by her home. She'll give you the address before the show is
You know
out.
what? I have reason for that because I haven't done the outside of my house yet, and once that's done, then I will take part in the gardening. But I don't want it
That's
to
the
be
right way to do
distant.
it.
Thank you, Joe. Like I said to you last week, I haven't lived in my home for 80 years like you have, and I haven't had as much time to manicure my garden. Thank you for calling, though.
Talk to you later.
Okay, bye. You just press that. Yeah.
Bye, thank you.
Okay, yeah.
Very thoughtful.
Yeah, very, very thoughtful indeed. So the plant sale, now how often is that plant sale?
Every year.
No, it's just one time.
It's once
Yeah.
a year. It's our annual.
And-
That's
and
our
when-
main fundraising.
Okay,
event.
and when is that?
September.
Let me write that down.
September. Usually the third weekend.
Yep, that's
Saturday in
right.
September.
September.
Saturday in September,
Okay.
yeah. And it's on the at that time because like I was talking about people who have had enough time for stuff in their garden to grow well.
Yeah.
It's at that time because it's a good time to divide stuff that's doing well.
Yeah.
And you still have time for the plants to get used to your yard before it starts to get really cold.
That's right.
Okay.
So
getting to that topic, because one of the things we were talking about, and I myself, I'm being a little selfish here because I just planted with a friend of mine. We planted little herb boxes.
Very nice.
And this is
Good.
my first herb kind of garden, if you will. And so we were talking back and forth what we were going to talk tonight. And you'd said planting season, because of the warm winter, it's shifted on us.
Yes.
Now tell us a little bit about that.
Well, we're just all shocked. I mean, it's definitely things have moved up.
Okay.
From that warm weather, I think some plants never fully went to bed this winter, at least not in my yard.
Mm-hmm.
And I have perennials that should be coming up in May or June, and they're up now.
Really?
I think the lilacs are a good 2 to 3 weeks ahead of
They are.
usual. So people can start planting earlier than usual.
So
I think they
what's
can.
ideal to be planting right now? Like, what should I be planting?
well, what you're doing with the herbs is perfect, and herbs
Okay.
are good because most of them are annuals. So,
Yeah.
in other words, you won't keep them over the winter.
Okay.
They won't live through the winter. But the good news is that they'll really get a good start now. You don't need to worry about freezing at night.
Okay.
And then you can keep refreshing them as the season goes on. You know, like cilantro, for instance, will get tall and then bolt, and meaning that it will start to flower, and the leaves don't taste as good.
Right.
So then you can
Right.
just get another one.
Well, do you want to cut
keep
them
it
before they do
refreshing.
that? So you should cut the cilantro before it flowers. Okay, that's good to know.
And you can put basil in. which
Oh,
would
I've
be
got
great. If
basil.
you get the
Rosemary.
plants out,
Yep.
You want to again pinch that when it starts to flower. Don't
Pinch the basil?
get
Yeah.
rid of the flowers because that's good, or even
Yeah.
before then, because that could make it taste not as great once it does that. That's true of a
Okay.
lot of herbs.
What about rosemary and mint for my mojitos?
Mint is
I'm
excellent.
excited
It
about
is. It can be invasive.
Really?
So I would, if you put it in the ground, I'd keep it in a pot and put it in the
Uh-oh.
ground, unless you need a ground cover for a spectacularly unhospitable spot.
Well,
Because
I have a
used it-
dog.
Okay.
So it's up high.
So
Just out of Oreo
so I have
zone.
used it to kind of, it will grow, and that actually can come back from season to season.
Mint.
Yes.
But
So what
mint's
are
great.
what are the most invasive ones? Mint. I heard basil was like pretty hardy.
Basil will, it won't make it through the winter, but it'll keep growing.
But it's not going to take over the pot because I
No,
have
it's
two
not.
little
Mint
boxes.
will. The mint
Mint
totally
will.
What
will.
else
Mint
will?
will.
What other herbs will take over the box that I should
Boy,
watch?
Mint is really the gangbusters
Yeah.
one.
So
It's
maybe
great
I-
to have it though. I mean, don't not have it.
Maybe put it in a separate bin. Jamie, we
Yeah.
need to put it in a
or
separate
keep
bin.
it in a
Gotta
pot
remember
in
that.
the bin, so it's roots.
Well, they've got
Yeah.
those new kind of organic. You just put them in there and then it just dissolves over time.
Right.
Maybe that will prevent it.
It might slow it down.
Well,
Okay.
you'll be keeping after it, pulling
Yeah.
leaves off of it. So
That's
you'll
true.
be
Having
outside.
my this is
That's
true,
right.
ladies.
Mint's a
do it
great thing
I
to
do
do.
too.
So now, here's a question. Somerville soil. I love how I've been seeing a lot of above beds kind of popping up
yes.
all over. Although, just truth, people need to recognize if they are planting anything edible, they should not be using pressure-treated lumber. Pressure-treated lumber is a no-no. It's not good anyway. it's got a lot of
Right,
chemicals in it.
right.
It's gotten better over the years, but just somebody warned me of that at Home Depot.
That's right.
Which I was surprised, but I thought, no, I was building something outside.
Mm-hmm.
So, but the above beds are coming around.
Yep, the raised beds are excellent. You get good drainage when
But
you do
here's a
raised beds.
question. What is the Somerville soil like? I mean, like, is it typically, does it vary between areas?
It
You know,
can
obviously,
vary.
but is it very, you know,
Well,
are there certain things that are different?
sure it does. You know, depending on how much drainage you have in your yard and that kind of thing. But the best thing about raised beds and container gardens is that then you're sure you don't have lead in your soil.
Yeah.
The one thing that is consistent, because Somerville has been urban for so long,
Yeah.
and you have runoff from roads and
Yeah.
house paint and all of that, there's lead in the soil.
There's a lot of lead.
You can get it tested, and we have a link on our website. It's a very common testing organization that's UMass Amherst.
That's right.
And you take little samples of your soil. But the bottom line is, if you're at all concerned or you have children at home that you're going to be feeding your veggies to, you need to
Do the raised bed.
do raised beds or containers. You could even go completely easy and get a big bag of potting soil and put the plant right in it. It's not very attractive.
Yeah.
But it's very simple.
Okay, now here's a question, because I love hydrangeas. And I was maybe, you know, Martha's Vineyard Vacation, I don't know, that
Oh,
hooked
yes.
me. Now, are those, because I've been kind of looking at my neighbors, because again, contrary to what Joe says, I will eventually have my green thumb on.
Yes, you will. You
and
will.
get my garden going. So hydrangeas, are those good in this area too? I mean, what are the big plants that you typically will see
Right.
and all of your friends kind of talk
well,
about? at the club?
hydrangeas do like New England. They
Okay.
particularly like it when they're more closer to the ocean.
Okay,
but, but you can
not
do it.
so
I see
much.
them around town.
In summer,
They
but-
want a lot of full sun.
Okay, I
They
have great
really
southern
want to.
exposure.
They want to bake in the sun, and like most plants, they want some decent drainage. And that's another good aspect of raised beds is that everything gets some nice drainage. They don't get water.
Here's a
But
question.
they should
For
do
big
well.
drainage, if we're talking drainage here, if you're planting something not a raised bed, but just regular, would you want to like excavate a little bit, put some what's the word? Pebbles,
Pebbles.
or you know, things like that, and then the soil, because that would allow the drainage to kind of.
That helps
Does that help?
sometimes. You can do that. You can do a better soil mixture that maybe is just lighter.
Yeah, I
because
think
we
if you're
have
going to go to the
compacted
trouble
soil.
of excavating, you would want to put nice soil in. I think that's probably more important than putting the gravel in.
For the
Unless you-
drainage
unless
factor.
Unless you have like a little lake in your backyard. Then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But soil and drainage
There's
are
so
pretty
much.
critical.
Soil and drainage, and for so southern exposure.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I'm hogging all this, but that's what you get if you get to invite people on the
Right.
show. I have a lot of southern exposure. So what are the
lucky.
tomatoes?
Oh yeah, tomatoes will be
Tomatoes are
happy.
great. What should I be growing? Tomatoes, hydrangeas.
A lot of herbs will be
Herbs.
very happy, although you can get some lettuces and
Sunflowers.
greens will take parts on. Sunflowers would be ecstatic. I can't grow them. I'm very jealous for people.
Really?
I
Oh my
don't-
God. Teresa,
no.
or excuse me, Lisa, I'm sure that your garden, I can hands down say that your garden is not, yeah, I mean,
I have roses. Roses we can do, but sunflowers I can't. But if you've got that sun, they would love it.
got incredible.
Yes.
Yeah,
yeah.
okay. Wow, off topic here. So let's talk about a few, okay, so we got tips and tricks in Somerville. We talked a lot about that. Composting in the garden. That's really quite, press the button.
Not a problem.
Hi, you're on Greater Somerville.
Hi. Lovely program. I always
Thank
listen
you.
to it, and it's a great show. And
Thank
it's
you.
very interesting to hear about the green stuff in the gardens and around Somerville. I did, however, want to say that there's a misconception when it comes to pressure-treated lumber. There's actually two different types. There's the CCA, which is chemically treated. And it's not advisable for playground areas for children,
Okay.
gardens, other kinds of things.
Okay.
But they do make another pressure-treated lumber that is made without chemicals that is safe for playgrounds and for gardens in other areas.
And what
So
brand,
there-
does it say, do you know what type it is?
Say again?
What type, is there like a CCA, what does it,
Well, I think I was just trying to look it up online, but I believe when you go to Home Depot or any lumber center, you can ask them and they'll tell you the distinction between the two of them.
oh, you know what? Good to know. Thank you for calling and letting us know that.
And thank you for doing the show.
Thank you, my pleasure.
I'll listen to the rest of it offline.
Okay, thanks. Thank you. Good night. You just press that button. Something
Cool.
I
Good
learned
to
tonight.
know.
Good
Who
to
knew?
know.
I didn't know.
All
That's
you
great.
viewers at home. So let me talk about, we've got a couple more minutes so we can wrap this up. I apologize. It's just there's so many things to know about gardening. The composting has been a really big trend and a great one.
Yeah.
So how is that? I'm a little intimidated by it. I don't have my composting bin. I need one. But is that something that, you just put everything in there and then you take that and you put it onto your, like, what's good for plants? What's good for, if you're growing vegetables?
Or what the difference is?
Can you advise people at home for that?
Well, my compost is a little slow, but I've got it working. And I think it is an important mixture of, they always say brown and green.
Okay.
So for some of the green, kitchen scraps, and you don't want to have anything that's meat. I think you don't want to use dairy. I think you'd have like eggshells or shrimp tails, but you don't want to have like bones or anything.
And they give you like instructions on, I think, on the city's
Yes.
website, right? Just for if anybody wants to start that.
And
up.
actually, when we're at the farmers market, we're going to have a little handout about that too. We have something that.
For composting.
For composting. But you do kind of, for all the green kitchen scraps, then you want to add some brown leaves or something. So you brown and green and brown and green. And I have tried to keep my moisture. I pour water in sometimes, and it seems to go faster. That's been my.
Is that kind of the group consensus of the garden club composting?
Yeah, well, the people sometimes would like to follow a specific recipe, and it's actually, I think, easier than that. You start adding stuff to it. I think you have to mush it around, aerate it. I think it helps to add a little bit of dirt to it. And then just push it along. And there's some things like oak leaves that everybody has buckets of, and those will just sit in there forever. They take longer. But that's, you do it, and you're like, all right, those oak leaves are still there. I guess I won't add that many next time.
Right.
And so you start to add some other stuff.
And then when do you know when it's ready to kind of throw onto the soil?
It looks amazing.
Yeah. When you
Okay.
look at the bottom of your composter, there's little.
Okay, all right. So, maybe it is something I can approach.
You get black gold out of the bottom of your composter.
Oh my
Then
goodness.
you have been successful.
I know.
You know.
So, actually, I'm going to have to wrap this up. Well, we can talk one quick thing. I love how the gardening itself builds community, and I think that having you here talking about the Somerville Garden Club and all the things that you do, it's just yet another thing in Somerville.
It is
that makes this community wonderful, because I think that these women and men have access to all this knowledge, all the beautiful things that you do to make the city look the way that it does. I mean, it's very appreciated, and I just want to make sure everyone at home knows that and appreciates these people. I just want to let everyone know the Somerville Garden Club website is www.somervillegardenclub.org, and you also have a Flickr pool where people are encouraged to give their images of their gardens and things like that, which I think is a very, show that off.
It's
all
inspiring.
That hard work.
You can
very
see because
inspiring.
it's all from other Somervillians. It looks pretty great.
Yep. I'd like to thank our guests, Theresa and Lisa, for stopping by Greater Somerville tonight and talking to us about all the exciting events coming up in the spring and summer with the Somerville Garden Club, and why you shouldn't be afraid to go green this summer. And trust me, folks, if I can do it, so can you. So please check out our website for more information on tonight's links, and you'll see other links as well as all of our Greater Somerville episodes. That does it for us tonight. Thank you to the viewers at home for watching. As always, stay safe and stay informed. Good night, everyone.